Hello there, welcome everybody. It's Diorama Don here. Slightly different video this time. This is my workstation where I work from outside my little house in Thailand. My dining table here. This is my waiting for paint to dry sofa. So as soon as I've painted something I have to wait for it to dry, so I just lie down, have a lie down there. And that's all my tools and equipment that I use. Not much, as you can see. I don't use paint very much at all. Got my bags of grout down there, as you know. I use that quite a bit. So what I said I would do in my last video, which was of a North African village, you may remember, I did say I would show you how I went about making my palm trees. Okay, so this video is how I make palm trees. Well, if you type into Google Images palm trees, you'll get hundreds and hundreds of images, every single one completely different. So there's no real one way of making a palm tree. So the only thing I could do was to step just 2 meters to my front garden and look up, and there are my palm trees. So I can model them on my own 2 palm trees in my front garden. So there we are, they are mine. So I've got to copy those somehow. There are two palm trees there, and then there's another one here, but as you go up it just suddenly stops. It's because Thai people like to put their electric wiring above ground. As you can see, it's a hell of a mess of wires there, and we had to cut it down so the leaves didn't entangle in the wiring system. And just as a footnote, where are we? Thailand has just decriminalised cannabis, so we've got our own little cannabis plant growing there. Someone gave us a plant, so happy days coming up. Okay, so we'll carry on then, and I'll show you how I went about making my palm trees. So these are the palm trees that I'm going to make, modelled on my 2 trees in my front garden. The shape is generally straight. Of course there are curved ones and slightly different shaped ones, but I'll go with this shape. So I've got some 1/2 inch diameter balsa wood. This is the best thing to use. If you can get hold, there must be a model shop close to you that will sell balsa wood. Just 1/2 inch diameter or 12 millimeters. And although that would make a decent trunk of a palm tree, it needs to be shaped in a more realistic fashion. So according to my trees, there's a shape like that every so often. So it goes in a bit like that, and then in a bit like that further down. So with balsa wood it's just so easy to do with a sharp knife like this. So that's basically the shape that you've got. The top thins but only a little bit, so we can have a slightly thinner top, and that's basically the shape of the trunk. So once you've done that, bit of sandpaper just to smooth it down. I'd normally spend maybe a little bit more time doing this, but that's reasonably okay. That's all you need to do, as long as it's not exactly the same shape all the way up. So we've got that kind of shape. Then for the bark, if you like, I used my trusty wall putty or wall filler, this time straight out of the tub, no water added to it, and then completely cover the trunk with this wall filler, like so. I won't do it all, I'll just do half. Okay, so when we've got a good layering of wall filler, like that, then with some wire wool, like this, then stipple it. Just dab it on to the wall filler like that, and you'll get that effect, which is as near as, damn it. Actually, my trunk is quite smooth. Excuse the expression. My trunk is quite smooth. But I've just come back from the beach, and there are palm trees all the way along Pattaya Beach where I live, and they are a dark brown trunk, but with a much rougher surface than my two trees. So that is probably more in keeping with the palm tree. So when that's dry, that will be as hard as rock, and then ready for painting. And I've painted mine just an off-white, really. That's the colour of my trees. They're just a grey colour. Really. That's all. Okay, so that's the trunk. I'll finish that off. Let that dry. So that's the trunk. And then for the leaves, some fairly thin cardboard, that size, like that. So it does that. A greetings card, Christmas card, birthday card, that's the kind of thickness. In fact, it might even be too thick. Maybe it's something a little bit thinner than that, but quite a pliable cardboard. And then I've marked out the shape of a leaf. In this case, 4 inches by 1 3/4, so 100mm by 45mm, and cut it basically into a very big leaf shape. Then put that on the cardboard, mark round with a pencil, and then cut 6 or 7 big leaves like that. So you've got those. Okay, then you'll need some very thin wire. I know wire is measured in gauge, but I don't know what gauge this is, but it is 1mm diameter. It measures 1mm across, so it's quite pliable, easily pliable. Okay, and they will, with some hot melt glue, stick on there. So if you put a bead of glue on the cardboard and just lay the wire into the melted glue, give that a second, and that definitely will stick on there. Okay, so I'll do that. I'll go away and do those, finish the trunk, and be back in one moment. So I've finished my trunk, and as you can see, it looks a pretty good representation of one type of species of palm tree. Like I say, mine is a smooth bark, but generally they are a rough looking trunk like that. And I've painted it grey because I've only got black and white paint. So I mean, you may want to paint it brown. That might be a better colour. It's up to you. Okay, so I've done my leaves. I've stuck the wire onto the leaf, and then painted it a sap green. but I used a very watered down colour so that it's not just a block colour. So it turns out all like horribly wishy-washy like that, which will be more in keeping really with the colour of leaves. Okay, so then once you've got that, and then with a sharp knife, cut at that, well, let me do it that way, at that angle, away from the centre of the leaf like that, and make a series of cuts, thin cuts all the way along there. So it looks like that. You've got lots of cuts. And then what you do, hold one end and just push it down like that. And then you can bend it to whatever shape you need and move the leaves until they look about right. So something like that. Because they're not uniform, they stick out all over the place. So you want it looking a bit like that. Then when you've got all your leaves done, because it's only balsa wood, I better use one of these. Because it's only balsa wood and you've got fairly thin wire on the end there, then all you need to do is just, well, you need to put a bit of glue on first, a bit of hot melt glue, and then just stick it into the balsa wood like that. And if you've got 6 or 7 branches, that's the word I was looking for, then just put them all the way around, and that's it. And that's all you need. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll finish this off. I'll come back, and we'll see what it looks like. Okay, so I've put my branches into the top of my trunk, and that's it. That's pretty much one palm tree. Obviously you could make different sizes, might be a little bit tall, a bit big, but you could make them any size you like really, but principle is all the same. If you're making a diorama with the subject of maybe the Vietnam War, then obviously you would need a few of these showing any type of diorama for that period. You would have palm trees like this all around. A little known fact that any Hollywood movie with the subject of the Vietnam War were all made in Thailand, because they would never be allowed the rights to film in Vietnam. So they film in Thailand, which is exactly the same terrain and the same palm trees. So there we are anyway. So what I've done on my North African diorama, because this is only polystyrene and it's easy to cut a point onto the bottom of my what do you call it, balsa wood, it's easy just to push it straight into the polystyrene like so, and that one at a slightly jaunty angle, and there you have a reasonably good depiction of a North African scene. And then if you want to show off your military vehicle, whatever it may be, then there we are, all complete. I suppose I could add a third one, but I think it might be a little bit too much. Oh, I don't know, that looks okay there, maybe. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video. There will be others, so please click the subscribe button and the notification bell, and you will be the first to know when new videos come along. In the meantime, have a go yourself. Let me know how you get on. Maybe improve on the way that I do it. But anyway, thanks for watching again, and as always, I wish you the very best of happy modelling.